One of the major things I want to congratulate you on, first of all, is being here and taking time for yourselves. We don't tend to take time to take care of ourselves. That's a very tough decision that everyone had to make. And it's not an easy one. To carve out time to actually care for ourselves goes against everything that our society tells us is okay, especially if you're a parent. You're not supposed to do that, it's just completely taboo. Self-care and selfish are very different. And we really need to start looking at that. Especially those of us who take care of everyone else. You're a lot of those people. You know you are. Right? These are a lot of those people. It takes one to know one. We know. We're with you. Right? But if we take care of so many people, very often we lose taking care of us. And it's not authentic. You can't take care of the whole world from an imbalanced place. But if in our bodies we can find balance, and we can start to create more of a balanced system internally, the world can't help but change around us. And that's really all we can do. With every breath we get a choice. We choose how we can deal with our lives with every single breath and every single thought. And we can choose to go, everything's terrible and even the whole world is falling apart. We can choose to manifest balance here, and it can't help but spread. We're a small part of a much greater sphere. When I work with these young people, hormones, there's nothing about crazy puberty-ridden hormones that reeks of balance. Reek, especially at my house. Right? And some of these kids are going through very tumultuous times in their home life, and they feel like they have no control over everything, over anything. But they have control over themselves. They just don't know it. And I asked them last week, well, maybe if you could put yourselves in a little more balance and take a few more deep breaths here, maybe your life wouldn't have a choice but to come into a little bit more balance. When my puberty-ridden son is in craziness, my whole family is in craziness. We can't help but adjust around him. When you have someone in your life in crisis that you're close to, your axis shifts slightly. Right? If your parents get sick or your children, come back to balancing the small parts that you can, taking deep breaths, focusing on the positive, and finding gratitude. The energy of gratitude is huge. Okay? As we work towards this wellness, it's going to be a little weird, and we're going to ask some of you to make changes. Listen to your body. Some of the changes will be structural in nature. We're going to talk a lot about connective tissue, which is going to be different. This very compartmentalized view of the body, of like, okay, I have a shoulder problem, so I'm just going to work on my shoulder. It's a freestanding shoulder, existing in space, with nothing, it's not tied to anything. We're going to take a more holistic model of looking at, okay, so is your shoulder hurting because it's your shoulder, or is your shoulder hurting because your entire rib cage is down here and your shoulder doesn't have a choice but to be down here? How could I adjust or look at my shoulder if I didn't address my rib cage here? It's not my shoulder that's forward, it's my entire upper body. Yes? The connective tissue is a much understudied, in my mind, under-revered aspect of the human form that we really don't look at. What we're going to start to look at is how the body functions together in this symbiotic relationship. The connective tissue up here is very much tied to the connective tissue down here. We're going to start looking at that a little bit. So, viewing the entire body from this connective tissue model, the way I like to describe that is, sorry for any vegetarians in the room. For any of you who ever cleaned a chicken breast, which I find most people have, there's that white filmy stuff around the chicken breast. We don't really like that stuff. Right? Very often, and depending on your choice of butchers, you will at the end of the chicken breast have a little piece of tendon or ligament. That filmy stuff around the chicken breast is the fascia that covers that muscle. And it pinches off at the end into a tendon or ligament, depending on whether it's attaching to a bone or another muscle. And that makes lines throughout your entire body. So the force exerted here is very often felt down here. It's all connected. Okay? So sometimes you might say, like, I came here with issues up here, and they keep talking to me about this. It's all connected. Right? I have to keep bringing it back to that connection. Another thing we're going to talk about is the fluid body. Okay? The fluid body, we're looking at more of the intercellular fluid and the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a huge part of your immune system. And it functions very differently than blood. The way our circulatory system works is a very forceful pushing out and drawing in. Right? We like that. It keeps us alive. The lymphatic system is very different. It's very passive and pulls from the extremities inwards. Right? And what happens is the little machines that each one of your cells are consistently producing garbage. Just like at your house. You might recycle like the Dickens and clean up consistently. You're always producing garbage though, right? As much as you would like not to. Your cells are doing the same thing. And if our body is functioning well, and there's an easeful flow, then we're consistently taking out the garbage. But not if we're under stress. Because then we contract and we constrict. Okay? A lot of what we're going to be talking about is taking out the garbage. Because the garbage does not allow you to function well. The garbage can turn in your joints into arthritis, right? You can start to feel that stickiness. Very often it can turn into cancer. Breast cancer, one of the most common things for women to get these days. The way the lymphatic system works is we breathe deeply, and that moves the lymph through our cells, and muscular contraction, that moves the lymph through our cells. Right? What do we do with our boobs? Stick them up here! You don't move them even a little bit, not even a tiny bit. Right? Which in some ways is fabulous if you're on your third pregnancy, you might be a fan of that. Right? But the way Mother Nature designed was this gentle, you've seen it in National Geographic, there's a lot of this action going on, right? So the lymph is moving through and taking out the garbage. We not only stick them up here, then we block off all of the exits for the garbage, because we put on antiperspirant. Right? That's a direct passageway out for your garbage. So we're going to start talking about the fluid systems of the body. Right? Breast cancer, uterine, cervical, ovarian cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer. We get cancer in places we don't take out our garbage. Right? A lot of what we will be introducing you to is cleansing. So cleansing can be hugely amazing for the body. The way I liken this one is, and then you've even had kids, or pets works really well too. If your kids and your pets are home and you go to clean your house, it's impossible, because they mess it up just as fast as you can put anything away. You put away one thing and they take it back out and they're like, find 4 other things to take out with it and put on the counter. It's ridiculous. If your kids go away for a weekend, your house is perfect. It's amazing. It'll never look like that ever again, but it's fantastic. Right? When we start removing some of the toxins that we tend to put in our body on a regular basis, our body cleans up house. And this is a really important thing to remember about your body. Your body always wants to come to this place of ease. That's what it's designed to do, and it's consistently moving towards that, always. So the more help and the more guidance we can give it, it'll get there. Sometimes not as fast as we like, but that's not our body's fault. That's our noggin's fault, and we'll work on that too. That's the stress. Your body always wants to come to ease. It's always working to it, and it's always changing. So what we want to start doing is taking away some of those roadblocks to get there.